Yes, what's good, everyone locked in? I hope everyone is blessed. Hope everyone is well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on where you are around the world, tuning in and locking into our preview show. Hope you guys are all good. Look, but we're here to talk about Liverpool. We're here to talk about Everton. Tough game. I don't know which way this is going to go. I know what way I prefer it to go. I don't know what way it will go. Love the engagement, guys, before I get started with the show. Love the engagement from the last video, surrounding Darwin Núñez. Um, Great conversations by you guys in the comment sections. So let's do this one as well. Let's make sure we get interactive and we drop our thoughts down below. What you guys think of everything I've said today, and if there's something I didn't cover, you guys can throw that in there for me as well, and I'll try my best to get back to each and every one of you. But listen, we're here to speak about Liverpool, Everton, away at Goodison Park. We're coming off the back of a 3-3 draw at St James Park against Newcastle. Yeah, we can't follow that result up with another draw. We can't go into this one and drop any more points. When you're in the month of December, if you're going in there with a lead, you try and extend it. You probably try and keep it the same. The one thing you can't allow other teams to do is eke away or eat away at your tally that you've set yourself. And currently, we dropped 2 points. Listen, we could look back at the season and go, do you know what? That was a good point earned away, at St. James Park. Most of the top teams have gone there and lost or drawn this season. So we could probably look at that as good. And do you know what? It's a good point. They would have to come to our ground, which we've been magnificent so far this season, bar the Forest game. But yeah, just looking back at the results since 2018 against Everton, I didn't even realize it was this bad, to be fair. We've got 4 0-0 draws, a 2-2 draw, and 1 win in there. The 1 win was, when Hendo scored from the edge of the box, Salah with his 2, and Jota. And I think it was Damari Gray that scored, their goal. But we don't go there and win. We're talking about just 0-0s, 4 0-0s out the previous 6 times we've been there. And that's a lot of draws, to be fair. 5 draws and 1 win since 2018 against Everton. So it's not like we're going into this game with like a nice record where we go, you know what, we always win at Goodison Park. We always batter them at Goodison Park. We haven't in recent years. So this one's going to be another tough one. They're going to be up for it. They're going to want to stop us along our journey. Of course, they don't want us to win the Premier League. So they're going to try their hardest. It's going to be a physical, demanding game, as it was against Newcastle. So we're gonna have to be up for this game. We can't go into this game and do what we did in the first half against Newcastle, where we were lethargic, didn't really want the ball. No one, the leaders as such, didn't really stand up and really drag the boys through. And we didn't play well from back to front. No one played well in that first half. Yes, we improved in the second half as a team. But, for a slight mistake at the end of the game cost us the 3 points. Did we deserve to win the game, on balance of performance? No. But at the end of the day, if they score 3, we score 3, no one deserves to, kind of win. But if we would have, got the 3 goals and we didn't, make that mistake at the end, you obviously look back at the game, analyze it and go, yeah, there's 100% room to improve. And we can't play like this if we want to go and, beat other teams in the league. Yes, it's slight come down maybe from the Real Madrid and Man City game, so it wasn't a loss. It feels like a loss because obviously, the teams in behind us, the Chelseas and Arsenals, even City, they all picked up a victory. So it's not a place you want to be. And as I said, in December, if you go into that with a lead, you want to maintain the lead or you want to extend the lead, and we did neither of that. So let's see what happens in this one. But yeah, just to kind of give you guys the breakdown of Everton, we don't go there and win. We don't go there and win, that much. We've only won 1, as I said, in the last 6 against them there. But let's go and have a look at their current form in the league. Hopefully you guys can see the graphic there. But I'll scroll it back a bit. Let's see how many results they've had. Let's go back to their last 6-7 games. 0-0 against Newcastle, 2-0 against Everton. So you can see that they keep quite a lot of clean sheets, to be fair. 1-1 against Fulham, so they're not really conceding there. They lost to Southampton 1-0, 0-0 against West Ham, 0-0 against Brentford. Obviously, they lost, they got beaten, or you'd say battered, against Man United 4-0, and then they beat Wolves 4-0. So, in their last, that's 1 clean sheet, 2 clean sheets, 3 clean sheets, 4 clean sheets, 5 clean sheets, 6 clean sheets in their last 7-8 games. So, and then looking at what we've gone there and done, it's 4 clean sheets the last time we played it. So they're not bad defensively, and especially with us coming to town, they're not gonna want to give up any easy goals against us. They're gonna want to make that game as difficult as possible. So just looking at both sides, we don't go there and win much. 1 in the last 6. And looking at their last 8 games, they've had like 5 clean sheets within that, 6 clean sheets within that. So, yeah, this is going to be a difficult game, more than what many think it's going to be. Yes, obviously they lost one of their key midfielders in Arne, is now at Aston Villa. And yes, there's a difference now, because now we've got Arne Slot. We don't have Klopp no more. So could Arne Slot's system, style of play, kind of find a way to break down Everton's defense, or change our results against them this season? Because look, Man United scored 4 goals against them. Am I trying to compare us to Man United? I would say our attack is much better than theirs, but the difference is they were at home. It's not really a derby for them as such. You know what I mean? We're the Merseyside derby to them, so they're gonna want to turn up and try and make it as difficult as possible for us. So look, I would, obviously, I expect us and I want us to win, but I don't know, man. I expect us, based on how we played this season and the results we've picked up and how good we've been defensively, bar the Southampton game and say the Newcastle game. I think we've been fine. We've been fine since them points, but yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't know. Obviously, we'll get to our score predictions and we'll chop it up then. And I'd love to know what you guys think as well. So let me know. As I said, guys, let's get interactive. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as well. But yeah, injuries. Let's get to injuries. I'm not too sure when you guys will be watching this one. It might be before, maybe after Arne Slot's press conference. But as far as I'm aware, there's no one close or fully back yet. Maybe Alisson is probably the closest to kind of get into the team currently. He's been training and stuff like that. Chiesa's had under 21 games and stuff like that. So you'd think that he would make the squad for this one, but I don't know. Are they just going to use him or utilize him in their current the under 21s until he's fit enough to really play or get on the bench for us as well? So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what Arne Slot is going to do that. We know that Ibu is going to be out until, say, January. Bradley's going to be out to January. There's no real news on Diogo Jota. I've seen him in a couple of in the gym photos, but nothing really. So I guess his injury are waiting for him to kind of heal up. The last, I think, inside a training, I saw Tsimikas and he had a protective boot on. So you would probably think he's not close either. So just looking at the squad, you're probably looking at probably the same players. Maybe Chiesa, maybe Alisson is the only two that's going to kind of be fit to come back into the team. So as I said, I don't know when you guys are going to be watching this video, but it might be after, it might be before the press conference, or maybe he goes, Tsimikas, maybe by miracle might be fit enough to kind of be a part of the squad and stuff like that. And hopefully there's any no knocks or anything from anyone else, in the team and stuff like that. But yeah, just for me, I don't think there is any more injuries anyway. Personally, I haven't seen anything, I haven't heard anything. So let's leave it there. I thought this was interesting from Curtis Jones. This was his comment from the last game. I think in the first half we were sloppy, we were slow, we lost loads of duels. It's not like us, man. I've seen us this season. We don't really hide from duels or hide from tackle or hide from really getting aggressive in the game. But in the Newcastle game, it looked, I don't know if I could put that down to us just being tired or us being just sloppy in Curtis's words. maybe it's just how many games we've kind of played so far and internationals and maybe I'm clutching at straws, trying to find excuses. Maybe coming up with maybe some logic here, but I just don't like the way we play. And going into the Everton game, they're gonna play the exact same way. They're gonna play with on the front foot. They're gonna be aggressive, and our players have to stand up in this one because we can't have a first half like we did against Newcastle if we expect to beat the Everton team. And as I said, I told you the results since 2018. They've had 4 draws there, 0-0s, 5 draws, sorry. 4 of them being 0-0s and 1 being 2-2 and the other one being a 4-1 win to us. So, and then looking at their results this season in the Premier League, you're talking about 6 clean sheets in their last 8. So they're not conceding goals. So we can't go into this one, hoping, or starting sloppy or losing them duels, because if we find ourselves 1-0 down against them, not only the added pressure of the Merseyside derby, they're going to be like, well, we can beat Liverpool. We're going to take points off them, and then the other guy's going to catch them. So, yeah, we can't afford to start slow and sloppy and lose out on loads of duels like we did in that Newcastle game. So I think, look, I expect the manager to kind of look at that game and assess it. And obviously for Arne Slot, it's every game that he's playing is his first. Every game he's playing against his team up to this point is a first. So he's never experienced the Merseyside derby. Has he experienced derbies before? Of course he has. He's been a manager for a minute, but he hasn't experienced a Merseyside derby. So this is going to be his first one. Maybe his playing style is the one to kind of unlock, these results or these 0-0s we keep having against them at Goodison Park. So fingers crossed. That's kind of where we are at the moment. Talking about Ibu as well. I'm sure you guys have seen this one. Yes, it's a new contract, and it's from Fabrizio, so it looks like it's concrete. Obviously, it's good because I know we've got a few players, bar the 3 that we're trying to tie down: Virgil, Salah, and Trent. We've got a few players coming to their last year next season as well, so we got to try and sort those out as quickly as possible. And obviously, one of them is Ibu, and I think he deserves it. He's been performing so well this season, and he's been, if not one of the best defenders in the Premier League, he's probably been one of the best defenders in the world as well. In the combination of him and Virgil. So yeah, long may it continue, man. And we, as long as we can get this one done, give him a new long-term deal, I think that's fantastic for him and obviously the club. He deserves it. I believe he deserves it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below as well. And then just moving on slightly, we're talking about Manager of the Month. We've seen that Arne Slot is definitely, a part of the Manager of the Month committee now. 3 wins out of 3. I looked at the other managers that he's up against, and the others have won 2 and drawn 1. So surely he has to win this one. He's been top of the Premier League for a while now. It's from the start, you would say? Or did we? I think we might not have been from the start. Well, not from the start because obviously it's alphabetical, but yeah, he's done so well, man. I think he definitely deserves it. And I know sometimes managers, maybe fans, we don't really kind of care about these little accolades, but they're good. It just shows, it just gives you that confidence, like what I'm doing is working. Let me stick to what I'm doing. Let me keep working. Let me keep churning away and getting these results for the team. And potentially I can win one or a couple of these, during the season. But played 3 in November, won 3. No draws, obviously, no losses. And we're talking about a couple of good wins here, 2-0. And obviously the Southampton one was a 3-2. And obviously the Brighton one was 2-1. We had to come back from behind as well. But yeah, I think he's done a fantastic job, man. And long may this continue. I don't want him to start changing or adjusting and doing too much. But as I said, it's his first. So in December now, he's going to have to try and navigate it, see how, December is, and see if he can, get us back to winning ways and see if we can start picking up some results again and continue in that fashion. And then obviously you got Player of the Month as well. And Player of the Month is a good one because I've seen Salah do some amazing stuff, for a while now, but never really getting the accolades. And in terms of Player of the Month, I feel like they always just give it to someone else. But Gravenberch is on the list and Mo Salah is on the list. And I think one of them, if not, I'd probably say Mo. But even Gravenberch has been amazing as well, man. And it's not just been amazing in November. It's been amazing throughout the season. And Salah as well. Salah's had some good performances, some questionable ones. But obviously because he pops up with the goals, obviously, you know what I mean, he helps us win these games of football. But then, you know what I mean, so we're looking at November, 4 goals, 1 assist. Fantastic. And then we're looking at this one was a crazy one. 27 goal contribution in all competition. 27 goals. And then you look at the other guys, you got, you know, Diaz on 11, Gakpo on 10, Jota on 6, Nunes on 5, and Curtis on 5 goal contributions. So the other two on the other side, I think those are good numbers, especially because they're always getting rotated for each other. So you'd obviously, logically, you'd probably think, oh, if one of them was starting those games and all the games, then one of them would be on 21. Let's say we just gave the other one the other numbers, or even if we just gave them 50%. So even if one of them would be on 15, 16 goal contributions. But because we rotate that side, they're always going to have lower numbers. Mo is, you know, the one that's fit and he's the one that's firing. So he's going to be the one that plays on the right. Chiesa was meant to come in, and I know Arne Slot kind of mentioned him a few times. Normally with that, obviously Chiesa fit and he would be rotating with, you know, Salah. So Salah's numbers might look different. I'm just speculating, probably wouldn't. But obviously if you're playing less minutes, or not massively less minutes, but you'd think Chiesa would get a lot more minutes in playing, and so you'd think some of those goals might not even be on the pitch to take a penalty or two. Maybe, you know, in the moments when he scored in the second half, maybe he would have probably been subbed depending on the performances. So, but I think that's a lot of goals for him. But yeah, that's a lot of contribution from him. 27, that's massive. And obviously in the Premier League, I think it was 75% of our goals in the Premier League he's contributed to. So I'm glad he's obviously hitting these numbers. But at the same time, that, you know, I hope the other guys can start picking up and taking a bit of pressure, a bit of weight off of his shoulders as well, and trusting himself a bit more. Because I feel like sometimes they don't trust themselves enough in certain situations to kind of get the shot away or score the goals as well. But yeah, no, man, massive from him as well. And obviously Gravenberch in there as well. 17 duels won, 10 interceptions in midfield in the month of November. So, but you're only talking about 3 games. So those numbers are span across 3 games for him in the Premier League. He's been amazing, man. As long as we can try and keep him as fit as possible, and you know, give him the rest where he needs it. Yeah, you know, I think he'll be fine for the rest of the season. But I don't mind which one of them wins it. I think Salah probably deserves it, but I'm not gonna argue or moan if Gravenberch gets it as well. And definitely Arne Slot should get the manager of the month, in my opinion. But yeah, you guys are in. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. Like, team lineup. This is my team lineup I'm going with. Kelleher in goal. I think obviously he made a mistake in the last game. And obviously if Alisson's back fit, and as I said, I'm not too sure when you guys will be watching this one. Could be after, could be before. Arne Slot could probably say Alisson is in, you know, obviously going to be the one getting back into goal because he's now ready. So it's a toss-up between the two. But for me, if that's not the case, Kelleher obviously will go back in goal. His mistake in the last game, unforgivable, but it's forgivable because he's done well so far. So you're hurt in the moment, but you have to realize, look, players are always going to make some mistakes in their career. Some more crucial than others. Some you can kind of get away with because sometimes you get bailed out. But when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, you hardly get bailed out because you're the last line of defense. And I think all he had to do there was catch that, punch it, and then drop to the floor, and we get 3 points in the game. But it wasn't to be on the day, and that's fine. We move on. But the abuse he was getting online was crazy for me, man. Yeah, guys, man, we have to fix up with that. We can't just abuse the guys like that. Like some of the stuff people were saying, like, you can call a player shit, that's fine. You can vent your frustration by analyzing what's going on, but to throw these mad names and words towards them as human beings is crazy, man. Trent will go back at right back. You could see his qualities when he came on in the second half. 2 assists in his last game. Long may that continue, Trent. Gomez didn't have a great game. Had a great game against Man City. Wasn't a great game against Newcastle. So let's hopefully can, you know, with a bit of rhythm, let's sort that out. Let's forget about that last game and let's go again. Obviously, big man Verge, the captain, will partner him for me. Robbo, obviously, Tsimikas isn't fit, so Robbo will carry on playing at left back. So that's my back five. And then my two in front of him, I've gone with Ouattaro and Gravenberch. Obviously, McAllister is banned from that game, so he's not going to be able to play anyway. But I feel like for this game, we need a bit more. We need some aggressors in there, and that's what I've gone with. I've gone with, Ouattaro, the press merchant. He's aggressive, strong. He doesn't allow people just to go by him easily, and he can play football as well. And I think giving him and Gravenberch in that double pivot, I think it gives us a bit more license to the front four that you guys can see. And that's what I want. I want the front four to have a lot more freedom in this one to go and really express themselves to go and help us win this game. And I feel like playing with a Ouattaro in there and a Gravenberch, I think that is enough. That back six, I think that back six there is, or seven, I should say, is enough to kind of and allow the front four to go and do what they need to go and do. So I'm going to go with Ouattaro. I think he needs some game time as well. And I think either Curtis could play in there or Gravers, but I'd rather go Gravers in there. Him coming off in the last game would have been a bit of rest for him as well. He wasn't playing great, so he has to kind of show himself again, shake that off and go again, because you've been amazing so far this season. I've gone with Sobo just in front of him. I felt Sobo when he came on in the Newcastle game was really, really good. I think that's what Arne made a mistake in the last game. Knowing that Newcastle's midfield is going to be aggressive, they're going to press, they're going to run. We needed the exact same, and that's what Szoboszlai offered us. But his quality on the ball was very good as well in the game. So, and even the cameo he did against Man City as well, I felt he was really good in the Man City game as well. So, he's coming off the back of, I say, two good, half-decent performances. So fingers crossed this is the one he can get us a couple of goals, maybe an assist in there as well. And, with a bit more freedom, because obviously you're going to have the guys in behind you, the Ouattaros and Gravenberch. That should give him a bit more freedom to go. I don't really have to drop back too far. I can really stay up there and do my work from in a higher position up the pitch. Salah, obviously, on the right, you guys already know what he's about so far this season. He's been bagging goals, getting assists for the team. But I need you in the first half, my bro. I need you in the first half. A lot has been said about, me speaking around Mo Salah. I say again, guys, he's my favorite Liverpool player. But for me, he's my talisman. He's my world-class done. My standards are always going to be high for him. And it's not even my standards. It's the standards he sets himself. So I need you to turn up in that first half, because he turns up in that first half. Yeah, it's done deal for these, man. Done deal. He's on it in the first half. Yeah, we're looking at 2-3 goals, and then the second half we can go into cruise control and dictate the tempo of the game. I'm gonna go with Cody on the left-hand side. Didn't really have a good game against Newcastle. I think after about the 10th minute, he kind of was like, he weren't there. He was non-existent. It wasn't the normal Cody gap, and that's because the midfield kept losing the ball. We weren't utilizing them. Instead of bypassing the midfield, we didn't do that, and I think that's what we should have done in the game. Play it out to the wings. And I was having a conversation with Kevin about this, and he was like, we know that the Newcastle team was going to press us in the midfield. Hit the channels, keep hitting the channels, go into the wingers early and allow them to turn face up and attack the fullbacks and stuff like that, or running behind. And then you can get your team up, which means you bypass the midfield, and that means there's no use for them to do that press or that, that aggressiveness in their tackles and stuff like that. And then I've gone with Diaz up front. Nunes didn't have a great game in the last game. Obviously, looking back on the chances he had, should he have scored? There was one, obviously, he was stretching to get there. I've watched all angles of it, man. It's a difficult one. I would want you to score, but I can also see how he missed. He didn't actually get there when he needed to get there. And I don't know if the pass, because obviously the steals are going to be there. So people are going to look at steals and go, how have you missed from here? We know football don't work like that. We know that speed of the ball, speed of the pass. So as a football player, when you get into certain areas, if someone can put a steal there and go, how have you missed? But the ball was traveling that faster than what you expected it to. So could he have scored it? Yes, I expected him to, but he didn't get there in time. So he got there slightly just after. Slightly, it's just the slightest of not being there at the right time. And then the one on his left foot in the box, should have scored that one or hit the target at least. I was saying that, when Savage was doing his stream, big ups to Savage, and I was saying he should have just shifted it onto his right foot and finished that. But yeah, I think his time is kind of up at the moment. I'll still support him until the end of the season, but yeah, we're gonna need someone else to kind of take the mantelpiece. So I've gone with Lucho. I feel like the team plays better with Lucho in the nine. It looks a lot more fluid. It looks a lot more, because he doesn't play as a striker. He's like a false nine, and I feel like the team needs a false nine. I don't, you know what I mean, playing up there. We don't need someone that's standing up there, because we don't create, or we don't. The team doesn't facilitate around a sort of a central vocal point in the team, but we're pretty much a central wide, then we go to the wings, and that's how we beat the teams. We're always going into the channels, and that's Liverpool turning defenses and hitting Mo and hitting Diaz if he's the one playing there. Cody on the wings is a Liverpool that a lot of teams are scared of. And I think Lucho would give us that balance we need in there. So it becomes a 4-2-4 essentially in there in our press and stuff like that. And having Ouattaro and Gravenberch just sitting in there, just protecting, it will give the license to the 4 to really go and harm and hurt the Everton's defense. So for me, that's what I'm gonna go with. Let's go to score predictions, man. Score prediction. What would the score prediction be? I don't know, peeps, man. I don't know. What would the score prediction be? Score prediction. And guys, as I said, you guys throw your score predictions in there as well, and your goal scorers. Let me know who you think will score and what the score line will be. I'm going to go with a narrow 2-0 to Liverpool. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, really, really tough for us. But I feel like the senior players will step up. So I'm going to go with Virgil and I'll go with Salah for this one. I think them two will score for us. But we can't get into this, feisty type game. We can't let the occasion. And I think Arne has done really well with that. Taking the occasions away. Did it in the United one, did it in the Real Madrid one, and did it in the Man City one. Even the Arsenal one, to a point, we didn't get really drawn into certain things that we normally get drawn into in those type of games. So I'm going to go 2-0, that narrow and tough one, though. 2-0, Virgil and Salah. I think that the senior boys will step up. Maybe a set piece and a penalty I'm going to go with. But we have to be solid, man. We have to be strong defensively. We have to kind of go into this game with a bit more confidence than what we did in the last one. And I'm sure the boys will be ready for this one. I'm sure they'll be on it. But listen, we go into the Premier League. We go into game week 15. 7 points clear. Fingers crossed we can win this one, and the rivals drop points, Arsenal's and the Chelsea's, because they're the closest ones behind us currently. So fingers crossed they can drop points. I think, Arsenal's got, relatively easy game. I want to say they got Fulham or someone like that. Maybe I have to go and check who they've got. But I think most of their games they've got now pretty much easy, winnable games for Arsenal. They're in a good moment. Chelsea, because they've got two teams, they're in a really good moment themselves as well, so they can rotate and keep the 11 really fresh, for the Premier League. So they're doing really well, and a lot of teams ain't really considering them, but they sit second in the Premier League table at the moment, And I keep telling the Arsenal fans, yeah, it's not only just us, man. This Chelsea team looks very difficult to beat, man. They look like they've got goals from everywhere. They can rotate an 11. So they're always going to have these fresh. They've got quick players. They've got young players. They've got a talented squad of players in there. So do most teams, but those are the ones currently competing or challenging Liverpool currently. So hopefully we can go back and extend the lead. If we win and obviously those two lose, we can extend the lead back to 10 points. And, we're sitting in a bit more comfortable position than where we are now. But 7 points is comfortable. Don't get me wrong. But it's a difference between two games. And that's why we have to get back to winning ways in this one. Have to. Final thoughts for this one, boys and girls. As I said, needs to win. No excuses now. You know, it's going to be a tough game, but the boys have to turn up. You know, the boys on the bench as well. You know, Harvey being back, fingers crossed Chiesa will be on the bench as well. McAllister obviously won't be on the bench. So, you know, we need all of our players to kind of stand up. If they're called upon to step off the bench, we need you guys to turn up. The boys on the field, let's start strong, man. Let's start aggressive. Let's start on the front foot. You know, let's go into this game and showing that we're not just a second half team, because I'm tired of just looking at our team and going, oh, we're just going to do the whole come out in the second half and bop the team off the park. I want to do that in the first half. And it shouldn't be just at home. It should be no matter where you are. Yes, there's different circumstances that's in the game that could stop you and stuff like that. Cards could hinder your aggressiveness in a game, and you know, if you feel like that you're not as sharp, that can hinder you as well. And that's why I think rotating and putting Wataru in for this one is going to be the key for us to go and win this game, because he'll come in there with a fresh mind, fresh legs. He hasn't played much minutes anyway, so he could come in and look really off the pace. But I think having him and Gravenberch in there, you know, and they're both sitting and watching what's going on, and then you can free up Gravenberch slightly to if he needs to kind of go a bit more forward and carry the ball a bit more. You've always got that safety of Wataru sitting in there. But listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you guys, you know, have a great day. But as I said, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's get interactive in the chat, and we'll speak about it. We'll be back after the game, match reaction. I'm not too sure who might be on there with me, but I'll send it out and see who's available. We'll chop it up, man. We'll chop it up and see the reaction after the game. And then when are we back after that? I think we're probably back then Monday. But I'll let you guys know, man. Thinking about bringing the quiz back as well. I was literally just sitting there thinking before I went live. So I might bring it back. Might bring it back. But guys, listen, been great chopping it up with you guys. As I said, go and enjoy the rest of your day, morning, evening, night, wherever you are around the world. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
But I have an idea. I heard the song today a few times, and I you can do that. I have no problem with that. Let's see how the response will be. Arne slot, la 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 la. Now imagine the next season starts and you are not waiting what's going on. No, you go full throttle into it. You welcome the new manager like you welcomed me. You go all in from the first day.